Hey, this is Matt. Once again, what about in the video? The paid request, this time from I Hate Facebook. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. Now, he wanted me to rank the Karate Kid films. So, of course, I'm not going to include Cobra Kai because I'm talking about the films. So, technically, there's 5 films. 1, 2, 3, the next Karate Kid, and the remake. My favorite is the Karate Kid Part 2. That's my favorite. That will always be my favorite. I loved the idea of going to Okinawa, Japan, and see a bit more of Mr. Miyagi's backstory. I felt that Daniel grew from the first movie. He did seem like a little bit more of a mature character. Not totally out of character either. The love story I thought was very sweet. I think it's the best love story of all the Karate Kid films. I love that love story. Music, very well done. Especially love the song "Glory of Love." Very catchy, big hit for that movie was that song. And the movie did well when it came out. Made over 100 million in the U.S. I like the villain of Chosen. I love the finale where it's more of a life and death struggle. So we've upped the stakes from the first film. You know, with the next film, you up the stakes a little bit. You up the circumstance a little bit. We did a bit more Mr. Miyagi now. We see Daniel helping Mr. Miyagi and being a friend to him, just like Miyagi did for him in the first movie. I always enjoy that scene where after Miyagi's father's passed, he's sitting there, and then Daniel tells a story about his dad, and they sit next as the sun is, I forget if it was rising or settling. But it's a beautiful shot. Karate Kid Part 2 felt like there was a story to be told and a reason for it to exist. As we learn more about the flip side of Miyagi. So I love Karate Kid Part 2. I thought it moved at a better pace compared with the first one. Because the first one feels a bit longer and stretched out compared to the sequel. I can't remember. I think the first film is over 2 hours long. The sequel, I forget how long it is. It didn't feel that long. But Karate Kid Part 2 is definitely my favorite. Then I would go with Karate Kid, the original. You also have good songs like The Moment of Truth. You're the best around. Nothing's ever going to keep you down. No, I don't think Daniel was the bully, like that stupid, dumb internet thing from years ago. Rob Macchio and Pat Morita worked very well together. You really bought them this father and son feel. Miyagi, the way Pat Morita played that role, and these things that don't seem much, but paint the fence. But you realize what it is. The tournament scenes at the end, I thought they were done well for its time. Like I said, I do think the film's a bit overlong. I do like Elizabeth Shue. Oh yeah, I do prefer the love story in the second film, but I do like the end of the first one as well. Of course, the villains like Johnny and Master Kreese. Put a body bag, yeah. The train kit. It has a lot of iconic moments and pieces of it that people remember. There's a reason why it did well, and it became a big part. It became an 80s film people recognize and know, and reflective of the 80s. Now, what else is next? Karate Kid 1. I'm going to go with the next Karate Kid. People are like, what? Yeah, Karate Kid Part 4. I saw that again I don't know when it was. Did you think he was as bad as people made out to be? There's issues like the goofy stuff with the munch and who Pat Morita knows, and felt like there's some goofy stuff to it. You know, the people that are ready to skydive off the gym roof that Michael Ironside runs. But it was nice to see Michael Ironside as a villain. Hilary Swank, I don't mind. I thought Pat Morita was able to hold his own. After the travesty of Part 3, I was fine with them not dealing with Daniel again to butcher the character even more. And, I thought it was kind of a harmless time waster, that there are flaws in it, but I've seen much worse movies and much worse sequels. Wasn't needed, you didn't need it, but again, fucked a little better than Part 3, and I thought much more tolerable than the remake. I guess that's where I would go next, the remake of the Karate Kid, to rank them. Jackie Chan, I thought, did fine. He had some good emotional moments. But that's a movie that, number one, it's about Kung Fu, but it's called The Karate Kid. I'm like, okay, so it's called The Karate Kid because you want to milk the name, but Kung Fu is the martial art in the movie. And I guess they don't want to call it the Kung Fu Kid, so they just call it the Karate Kid, even though it's not karate. And Jaden Smith, he does not have his father's talent. Maybe he's got his talent slapping people, maybe he's got that. I guess we'll find out one day, but he doesn't have his father's talent for acting. Now, if I have to be honest, I would say of all the films he's been in, well, no, Pursuit of Happiness is probably his best performance. I guess I would say the second best, because, okay, I'll say he did better here than in The Day There Stood Still remake with Keanu Reeves. He did better here than After Earth. And wasn't there another movie? Can't remember. But you're watching the film, it's, again, a very long movie, and it feels like the first movie over again. It's one of those films that just seems very familiar, because they took that skeleton of the first film and just said, okay, you're picked on, someone teaches you, I don't know, you just watch it, you're going, this did need to be made. And it made a ton of money. And surprisingly made a ton of money. That's why I'm surprised they never did a sequel, because of how much money it made. I was surprised they didn't have a sequel. It did make a lot of money. I'll be honest, I haven't seen that movie for so long, that's why I'm hazy on the details. I barely remember the Karate Kid remake. I think there was some like weird choreography that felt unnatural at the end. And I don't know if it was CGI or wire work or something. I'm like, no, there's some of this stuff he can't do. And he did help from other technical aspects. Which, like, come on, man. Felt bloated. And the worst one is the Karate Kid Part 3. Easily the worst one to me. Easily by far. Karate Kid Part 3 is a terrible sequel on every front. Yeah, okay, you don't carry the love story from Part 1 to Part 2. But then you don't carry it from Part 2 to Part 3 and you do it again? And then it's for a non-love story because the girl they got was underage. And then Ralph Macchio was like 30. 29, 28, something like that. So yeah, that'd be a bit weird. So they're not going to kiss and they're not going to have this love story. Okay. But just, that character just became pointless. Why didn't you just bring... What? There's no reason to not have brought her back from the second film. There's not one good reason. Why not? Why not bring, hey, come visit America with me? Why not? Why not? Guess Robert Mark came, and let me ask you if you ever see this. Why the fuck not? Kumiko, why couldn't she come with Daniel to America? There's nothing else that the character really does. And again, she'd probably be old enough that you don't have to worry about, well, this girl's 17, so you can't do anything. And then I don't buy that Daniel all of a sudden doesn't trust Miyagi. I mean, he saw what Miyagi went through in Okinawa. He saw that his friend, his father figure, his master, went through all this stuff. Now all of a sudden he's not going to trust his master anymore? He's not going to trust Miyagi anymore? There was no reason for that. Did a terrible job trying to build that up. And we gotta go back to the well, so we got Martin Cove yet again. But now we got Thomas Ian Griffith, who is over the top, silly, goofy, a cartoon character, completely silly. And they try and do this fucking Darth Vader thing where, come to the dark side, Daniel-san. Get the fuck out of here. None of it made sense. There's no reason. It made Daniel an idiot, a moron, a putz. It made him a weakling too. He got his ass kicked more, it seemed, than in the first movie. It felt like and looked like he didn't learn anything. This guy that won the tournament in the first movie. This guy that did the stuff and survived a life and death battle in the second movie. And he didn't learn anything? He went backwards to worse off than he was in the first movie? That's not progression. And they felt this was the right decision to do. And then what happens at the end, you're back to the tournament, but not really, because I guess in this world, you could go back to the tournament and already be at the final part. Well, I'm like, that's not how it works. I've never heard of one fucking tournament that, yeah, you won the last year? Well, you're here and they have to work up to you. What the fuck? Maybe there is and I don't know them. If so, I apologize. And then it's just this ridiculous thing that just makes the character so much weaker. Where the bad guy, oh yeah, I'm going to punch you, and I'm going to do something and take that point away. Then I'm going to punch you, and I'm going to take something that way, disqualify that point away. He could have won 18 times. And again, that makes Daniel, to me, not deserve to win. And then Miyagi's pretty much going, Daniel-san, stop being a pussy. Stop being a sissy. And then he does this YMCA thing. YMCA. 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 That does like one move, one punch, he wins. End of the fucking movie. A love story that went nowhere. Yet again, crappy on the previous love story, and here wasn't even needed, because it's not like you created another one or a better one. You just created nothing. Ridiculous villain. Going back to the start, old ideas like Martin Cove as Trees. Make Daniel regress his character to being even more pussy than he was in the first one. A lame fight. It's not even a fight. It's more of just a beating. That Daniel got lucky finally to get one fucking hit. The music, the songs. I can't think of a fucking song from the movie. The Moment of Truth and You're the Best Around in the first one. Glory of Love in the second film. Fuck's in the third film? I don't remember what the hell's in the third film. song-wise. Miyagi doesn't have much to do other than Daniel doesn't want to listen to him and loves these little bonsai trees. That's it. Just a waste of time. I absolutely agree 100% with Ralph Macchio that the third film sucks. Even Ralph Macchio knows the third film sucks. And he's right. So the ranking is 2, 1, 4, the remake, and Cry Part 3 is the worst of the worst. Piece of shit. No redeeming qualities. No redeeming values. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. So, with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.